Hey Switch fans, welcome back to SwitchTop. Today, we're counting down the top 20 best first-person shooters available on Nintendo Switch and Switch 2. From atmospheric horror to fast-paced action and everything in between, these games prove that FPS titles can thrive on Nintendo's platform. Let's get into it. Metro: Last Light Redux takes you deep into the Moscow metro after a nuclear apocalypse has forced humanity underground. You play as Artyom, a ranger caught between warring factions while dealing with supernatural threats and mutated creatures on the surface. The game blends survival horror with stealth and tactical shooting. You'll need to manage your gas mask filters when exploring irradiated areas, conserve ammunition since bullets are literally currency, and choose between sneaking past enemies or engaging in intense firefights. The atmosphere is incredibly dense, with flickering lights, eerie sound design, and genuinely terrifying moments in dark tunnels. You can approach situations multiple ways. Go loud with military-grade weapons, or use silenced guns and your night vision goggles to pick off enemies quietly. The moral choice system tracks your actions throughout, leading to different endings based on how merciful or ruthless you've been. On Switch, the game runs smoothly, with minor graphical downgrades, but the claustrophobic horror and tense gunplay translate perfectly to handheld mode, making it an excellent on-the-go, post-apocalyptic experience. Dusk is a love letter to 90s shooters like Quake and Blood, throwing you into a nightmarish, rural, cult-infested America where you fight possessed cultists, demonic creatures, and worse. The story unfolds across 3 distinct episodes as you uncover the dark secrets behind the town of Dusk and the forces controlling it. Movement is lightning fast, with bunny hopping, strafing, and rocket jumping all encouraged, creating a fluid combat flow that rewards aggressive play. Your arsenal ranges from dual-wielding sickles and shotguns to hunting rifles and grenade launchers, with each weapon feeling punchy and satisfying. The level design is absolutely top tier, with intricate layouts full of secrets, alternate paths, and verticality that keeps you exploring every corner. Enemy variety keeps you adapting tactics constantly. Some charge directly, while others teleport or attack from range. The low-poly retro aesthetic might seem simple, but it allows for smooth performance and clear enemy visibility, even during chaotic firefights. There's also an endless survival mode and online multiplayer for competitive deathmatches. Wolfenstein II continues B.J. Blazkowicz's fight against Nazi occupation in an alternate 1961 America where the Axis powers won World War II. After barely surviving the events of the first game, B.J. leads a ragtag resistance movement to spark a second American Revolution and liberate the country from fascist control. The shooting mechanics are brutal and satisfying, with a huge arsenal including laser weapons, heavy machine guns, and the iconic hatchet for close-quarters carnage. You can dual-wield almost any weapon combination for maximum destruction, or take a stealthier approach using silenced pistols and takedowns. The game features an upgrade system where you unlock perks based on your playstyle, whether you prefer stealth, heavy armor, or mayhem. Each level offers multiple paths and approaches, with environmental destruction adding tactical options. The story tackles heavy themes with surprising emotional depth, balancing intense action sequences with character-driven moments that give weight to your mission. Performance on Switch is admirable considering the visual fidelity, though there are frame rate dips during the most intense battles. Prodeus modernizes the classic boomer shooter formula with stunning visuals and satisfying gore, while maintaining that old-school gameplay feel. The minimal story puts you as a corrupted agent of Prodeus, fighting through hell dimensions to stop an ancient evil. But honestly, the narrative takes a back seat to the pure shooting action. Combat is incredibly fluid, with fast movement, quick weapon switching, and enemies that explode into satisfying pixel gore when you blast them. Your arsenal includes classics like the shotgun and rocket launcher, alongside unique weapons like the ore cannon that shoots rebounding projectiles. The level design encourages exploration, with hidden areas containing upgrades and secrets scattered throughout each map. You can slide, dash, and jump to maintain momentum, while circle strafing around projectiles and crowds of demons. The visual style blends high-resolution, modern graphics with retro pixel effects for blood and particles, creating a unique aesthetic that pops on the Switch screen. There's a robust level editor with community-created content, adding nearly endless replayability. The Outer Worlds takes you to the Halcyon colony at the edge of the galaxy, where megacorporations control every aspect of life, from food to oxygen. You wake from cryosleep to find the colony on the brink of collapse, and must navigate corporate politics, companion quests, and faction conflicts, while uncovering a conspiracy that threatens everyone. This is an RPG-focused shooter, where your character build significantly impacts combat effectiveness. You can spec into various weapon types, stealth, dialogue options, or tech abilities. The gunplay feels solid, with a variety of weapons from plasma rifles to melee weapons, plus a time dilation ability that slows the action for tactical shots. Companion AI actually helps in fights, with each character having unique abilities you can command. Dialogue trees offer multiple solutions to quests beyond just shooting, letting you talk, sneak, or blast your way through problems. The dark humor and corporate satire keep the writing entertaining throughout the 25 to 30-hour campaign. Turbo Overkill is pure adrenaline-fueled chaos set in a cyberpunk paradise called Paradise, where an AI has gone rogue and mind-controlled the population. You play as Johnny Turbo, a half-human, half-cyborg bounty hunter with a chainsaw attached to his leg, fighting through neon-soaked streets and vertical megastructures. The movement system is where this game truly shines. You have a leg-mounted chainsaw for sliding through enemies, wall running that lets you traverse levels vertically, grappling hooks, and even slow-motion abilities. Combat rewards aggressive play as you dash between enemies, slide sawing through groups, and chain together kills for style points. Your arsenal grows to include everything from burst rifles to rocket launchers, and experimental weapons like the boomerang saw. The level design is incredibly vertical, with multiple paths encouraging you to use all your mobility options to find secrets and optimal combat routes. Enemy variety keeps you adapting, with flying drones, charging brutes, and bullet hell bosses that test your movement skills. The synthwave soundtrack perfectly complements the neon aesthetic and frenetic gameplay.
In these last years, I've seen so much. I've seen gods. I've become one. I cannot have you getting in my way.
Borderlands III Ultimate Edition brings the complete looter-shooter experience to Switch, with all DLC included, following a new group of Vault Hunters trying to stop the Calypso twins from harnessing alien power across multiple planets. The core gameplay loop is addictive. Complete missions and side quests, while constantly finding better guns with randomized stats and effects from the billions of possible weapon combinations. Each of the 4 Vault Hunters plays completely differently, with unique skill trees and action skills that drastically change combat approaches. You might summon a mech, deploy attack drones, create elemental effects, or use psychic powers. Gunplay feels tighter than previous entries, with improved hit feedback and more varied weapon manufacturers that each have distinct firing styles. You'll explore diverse planets, from neon-lit cities to swamps and deserts, each with their own enemy factions and environmental hazards. The humor is hit or miss, with constant pop culture references, but the core shooting and looting remains incredibly satisfying. Cooperative play supports up to 4 players, with scaling difficulty and instanced loot, so everyone gets rewards. Crysis Remastered brings the legendary PC shooter to Switch, putting you in the nanosuit as Nomad, part of an elite team investigating a North Korean-occupied island where an alien presence has been discovered. The campaign escalates from tactical military shooter to full-scale alien warfare as you uncover ancient technology that threatens humanity. The nanosuit is the star here, with 4 modes you can switch between instantly. Armor mode for defense, cloak for stealth, speed for rapid movement, and strength for powerful melee and jumping. This flexibility lets you approach combat situations however you want. Go invisible and silently eliminate targets, tank damage and go loud, or use speed and strength to outmaneuver enemies. The semi-open level design gives you multiple routes and tactical options for each encounter. Weapon customization allows real-time modifications to your guns, attaching different scopes, suppressors, and ammo types mid-combat. The physics system lets you interact with the environment, using objects as cover or weapons. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is the long-awaited first-person action-adventure where you take control of Samus Aran on the alien world of Vuros, blending classic shooter mechanics with deep exploration and puzzle elements. You move fluidly through interconnected regions, lock on to hostile creatures, and target weak points, while scanning environments for lore and clues. And your arsenal evolves as you gain new abilities that open up previously unreachable paths, true to the series' exploration-forward design. Beyond introduces psychic powers that let you manipulate objects, guide shots, and interact with distant mechanisms, adding strategic layers in combat and traversal that feel fresh without breaking the core Prime formula. Traversing between major areas via the bike-like Viola reinforces momentum and world continuity, and while boss fights and encounters demand measured aim and dodging, the tension comes from thoughtful engagements rather than frantic twitch shooting. The narrative unfolds through atmospheric world-building, data logs, and encounters with characters like the enigmatic Psylux, giving context to Samus's mission as she pieces together Vuros' secrets. Doom 2016 is pure, unfiltered, demon-slaying perfection that revitalized the legendary franchise for modern audiences. You're the Doomslayer, an ancient warrior awakened on Mars to stop a demonic invasion caused by the UAC's experiments with hell energy. The story is intentionally minimal. Demons appear, you kill them, that's it. Delivered through environmental storytelling and codex entries you can ignore if you just want carnage. The push-forward combat philosophy means standing still gets you killed, so you're constantly moving, jumping, and using the environment while managing your resources. The glory kill system is genius. Melee finishing moves on staggered enemies drop health, incentivizing aggressive play instead of hiding behind cover. Your arsenal is iconic, from the super shotgun to the chain gun and BFG, with weapon mods adding alternate fire modes like explosive shots or energy beams that you upgrade throughout. The level design balances exploration with combat arenas that lock you in until every demon is dead, creating intense encounters that test your skills. Secrets are everywhere, rewarding thorough exploration with classic Doom references, upgrade points, and lore. Metro 2033 throws you into the role of Artyom, a young survivor living in the Moscow metro, 2 decades after nuclear war devastated the surface. When your home station faces threats from mysterious creatures called the Dark Ones, you embark on a journey through the underground tunnels to warn other survivors and find help. The game nails that oppressive atmosphere, with limited resources forcing you to treat every bullet as precious, since ammunition doubles as currency in this world. You'll constantly manage your gas mask filters when venturing to the irradiated surface, check your watch for radiation levels, and use a hand-crank charger to keep your flashlight and night vision functional. Combat lets you choose between stealthy approaches using silenced weapons and your lighter to navigate dark areas, or going loud with military-grade guns when things get desperate. The tunnels are filled with mutants, hostile survivors, and supernatural encounters that keep you on edge throughout the 10-hour campaign. Stealth mechanics reward patience, as you can extinguish lights and stick to shadows to avoid detection.
He's a dead-eye shot, this one. No dark ones here. Just the usual tunnel trash.
Even when you don't see them, the dark ones are there. Fear. That's their weapon. That's what made the Nosalises run through the tunnel.
Neon White is a lightning-fast, first-person action game where you're a demon slayer competing in Heaven's trials for a chance at redemption. You play as White, an assassin pulled from hell along with other Neons to exterminate demons infesting heaven, with the fastest slayers earning a permanent place in paradise. The genius hook is the card system, where weapons are playing cards you collect throughout each level. Each card functions as a gun, but can also be discarded for special movement abilities like double jumps, dashes, or grappling hooks. Levels are short, focused challenges where you're racing against the clock to find the optimal route using these card abilities to chain together insane speedrun shortcuts. You might use a rifle card to shoot enemies, then discard it to dash across a gap, pick up a shotgun card to blast more demons, then discard that for a ground pound ability. Between missions, you unlock visual novel-style dialogue scenes with other Neons, where you gift them collectibles found in levels to learn about your shared past and build relationships.
Shoot like a gun, or you can discard it to use its special movement ability. When to shoot and when to discard is up to you, but if you want to go fast, you're gonna need to discard your cards. Don't be afraid to use them. You can't take cards with you to the next level. Here's your handgun. Discard it to use Elevate, which lets you double jump to attack from above, or create new
System Shock 2 is a sci-fi horror masterpiece that influenced games like BioShock and Dead Space. Now available on Switch with improved controls and quality of life features. You wake aboard the starship Von Braun with no memory, guided by a mysterious voice as you discover the crew has been mutated by an alien presence called the Many, controlled by the rogue AI Shodan. This is an immersive sim that blends FPS combat with RPG systems and survival horror elements. You choose between 3 character classes, Marine, Navy, or OSA agent, that determine your starting stats and available upgrade paths. Weapons degrade with use, requiring repair, ammo is scarce, and you need to manage an inventory of healing items, psi-hypos for psychic powers, and upgrade modules. The Cyber Module currency lets you invest in skills like hacking, research, weapon proficiency, or psi abilities that dramatically change your approach to challenges. You can hack turrets to fight for you, research enemy organs to deal extra damage, or use psychic powers to manipulate objects and enemies. Audio logs scattered throughout tell the story of the crew's descent into madness.
Why not join with us
Against the machine, Mother.
Don't cry. Don't cry. Soon you'll be the mother of them all.
You will soon hear
Quake II puts you in the boots of a space marine in humanity's desperate counterattack against the alien Strogg civilization that's been harvesting humans for their cybernetic army. After your drop pod crashes during the invasion of Strogos, you fight solo through their industrial hellscape to complete objectives that will cripple their war machine. The remastered version on Switch includes the original campaign plus both expansion packs, offering over 30 hours of content, all running at a smooth 60 frames per second in docked mode. Movement is fast and responsive, with strafe running letting you build momentum, while the weapon roster includes classics like the Super Shotgun, Railgun, and BFG-10K that feel punchy and satisfying. Level design focuses on hub-based exploration, where you tackle objectives in various orders, backtracking through areas with new keycards to unlock previously sealed sections. Enemy variety keeps combat interesting, from basic grunts to flying attackers and tank-like enforcers that require different tactics. The gunplay emphasizes movement and positioning over cover shooting, rewarding players who stay mobile and use the environment to their advantage. Doom Eternal cranks up everything from Doom 2016 to absurd levels, putting you back in the Praetor suit as Earth faces total demonic invasion. The story expands the lore significantly, revealing the Doomslayer's origins and his eternal war against Hell's forces, though it's still mostly an excuse to rip and tear through demon hordes. Combat is faster and more demanding than its predecessor, with a focus on aggressive resource management. You chainsaw demons for ammo, use Flame Belch to make enemies drop armor, and Glory Kill for health. This combat puzzle approach means you're constantly cycling through your entire arsenal, because sitting on one weapon will leave you depleted. The Super Shotgun now has a meat hook that pulls you toward enemies, adding incredible mobility to combat encounters. Platforming sections between fights use double jumps, dash abilities, monkey bars, and jump pads to navigate the environment, creating a rhythm of intense combat followed by exploration. New enemy types, like the Marauder, force you to adapt your tactics, countering only when he flashes green and avoiding his attacks otherwise. Bulletstorm is an over-the-top shooter that rewards creativity and absurdity in equal measure, starring Grayson Hunt, a drunken space pirate seeking revenge against his former commander. After crash landing on a resort planet now overrun by mutants and carnivorous plants, you fight through the chaos while trading insults with your cyborg partner Ishii. The skill shot system is the core innovation here. You earn points for killing enemies in creative ways, from environmental kills to specific weapon combos, with hundreds of unique skill shots to discover. Your energy leash lets you grab enemies and objects, pulling them toward you in slow motion, or launching them into hazards like cacti or exposed rebar. You can kick enemies to stagger them, slide into groups, or use the leash to set up elaborate kills combining multiple weapons. The variety of weapons includes unique options, like the Penetrator that impales enemies with explosive drill bits, a quad-barrel shotgun, and the Flail Gun that wraps enemies in chains before detonating. Points earned from skill shots let you upgrade weapons and buy ammo at drop stations scattered throughout levels. Dying Light Platinum Edition delivers the complete zombie parkour experience, with all DLC putting you in the role of Kyle Crane, an undercover agent infiltrating the quarantined city of Haran during a zombie outbreak. Your mission to retrieve a stolen file gets complicated as you become involved with the survivors and face the reality of the infection. The parkour movement system is incredibly fluid, letting you vault, climb, slide, and leap across the urban environment while fleeing or chasing down zombies. Combat during the day focuses on melee weapons you craft and upgrade using blueprints, electrified machetes, explosive throwing stars, and modified baseball bats. All degrade with use, pushing you to constantly scavenge and craft new gear. The day-night cycle fundamentally changes gameplay, as nighttime introduces volatile infected that are faster, stronger, and can chase you across rooftops, turning hunts into desperate escapes where stealth becomes essential. The skill tree system lets you specialize in survivor abilities for crafting, agility for movement, or power for combat effectiveness. BioShock the Collection brings all 3 BioShock games to Switch, starting with the underwater dystopia of Rapture in the original game. You play as Jack, a plane crash survivor who discovers the failed underwater city built by Andrew Ryan, where genetic modification ran wild, turning citizens into atom-addicted splicers. The immersive sim design lets you combine plasmids, genetic powers like electricity or telekinesis, with conventional weapons to approach combat creatively. You can electrify water to shock enemies, freeze them solid, then shatter them with a wrench, or use telekinesis to throw objects and even grenades back at attackers. The iconic Big Daddy encounters require strategy as you decide whether to fight these armored protectors for their atom or avoid them entirely. Hacking security systems and turrets adds another tactical layer. BioShock 2 puts you in the boots of a Big Daddy, protecting a little sister, while exploring Rapture's fall from another perspective. Infinite shifts to the floating city of Columbia, where Booker DeWitt searches for a mysterious girl named Elizabeth who can open tears in reality. Her powers fundamentally change combat, as she can summon cover, weapons, or allies from alternate dimensions. All 3 games feature morality systems with multiple endings. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition delivers a deep first-person action RPG experience on Nintendo Switch 2, dropping you into the dense, neon-lit sprawl of Night City as V, a fully customizable mercenary caught between street-level survival and corporate power games. Gameplay mixes solid FPS gunplay with RPG systems, letting you approach encounters through direct shooting, stealth, hacking, or aggressive melee builds depending on how you invest in skills, cyberware, and gear. Combat rewards tactical movement, use of cover, and smart deployment of quick hacks to disable enemies, turn turrets against their owners, or manipulate the environment before a fight even starts. Exploration is a major pillar, with a massive open world packed with side gigs, optional contracts, and characters whose personal stories often rival the main quest in depth. The narrative centers on a dangerous biochip lodged in your head, and your tense partnership with Johnny Silverhand, unfolding through dialogue-driven missions filled with moral choices and long-term consequences. Metroid Prime Remastered brings the GameCube classic to modern platforms with completely overhauled visuals while preserving the original's genius design. You play as Samus Aran, investigating a distress signal from a space pirate frigate, which leads you to the planet Talon 4, where you uncover the corruption caused by a mutagenic substance called Phazon. This is a first-person adventure that prioritizes exploration and atmosphere over constant combat. The visor system lets you switch between combat view, scan visor for analyzing the environment and enemies, thermal imaging for seeing heat signatures, and X-ray vision for detecting invisible platforms and enemies. Scanning everything builds the lore through detailed logs about the Chozo civilization, space pirates' experiments, and the native creatures. Your arm cannon gains different beam weapons throughout, wave, ice, and plasma beams that also serve as keys to unlock color-coded doors. The morph ball transformation remains iconic, letting you navigate tight spaces and use bombs to reach new areas. The interconnected world design encourages backtracking as new abilities unlock previously inaccessible areas, creating satisfying aha moments when you remember where to use them. And there you have it, the top 20 best FPS games you can play on Nintendo Switch and Switch 2. If you enjoyed this countdown, smash that like button and subscribe to SwitchTop for more Nintendo Switch gaming content. Until next time,